Okay, so today the project that we're going to work on today is some flower boxes or planter boxes that we have this is on the south side of our house. And we've tried different things over the years. We've planted garden in here and some other things, and so we thought we'd just kind of change it up a little bit. We moved the garden to the other side, and so we wanted to have something here. So we're going to do some of these white gala shrubs. They are a full sun shrub. Once they blossom, you do have to cut them down. As far as irrigation goes, I've already got that in place. So this right here is an octopus that I used for my garden. It has 8 different spigots, and you can just screw that on like you would a regular sprinkler head. Run those to the different shrubs, the different plants that we've had. I'm actually going to take that off, and I'm going to put a different head on today. I'm going to put an actual sprinkler head because I want more coverage for all 3 flower beds. So I have 2 of them here, and it's pretty simple. I'm just going to unscrew. I've got a cap here, and that octopus is a cap. I'm just going to unscrew these caps, and then I'm going to put some Teflon tape on these. I'm a big believer of the Teflon tape, especially when you're going from metal to a plastic head. And I'm just going to use a regular sprinkler head. And the kind that I like are the ones that, this is a twin spray. It's made by Orbit. You can pick these up at Home Depot. But when we're going from a plastic head to a metal, you have to put some Teflon on there. So you just stick some Teflon right around the threading. And I go a couple times. And then we can just screw this right on. Now it's a little bit tricky when you're going from plastic to metal, but if you're patient with it, it'll just start to go on. The threading's a little bit different, but once we get it going, see, it's a little bit off there, but once I get that going, there we go. You just kind of slowly work it down, but the Teflon is going to keep it from leaking. So I'm going to put those in, just a couple half heads that'll just come out and go halfway, and then we'll plant the shrubs and we'll get to that point. So now we're going to remove this cup link. It's a metal cup link. Because it's been here for so long, I'm going to use a pipe wrench to try and loosen this up. I think there's a little bit of rust there, so it might take a little bit of doing, but I'm just going to put a pipe wrench on this guy, and that's what we're going to use to remove it. Now, in the event that I can't get this off, you'll notice it's also threaded. So what I could do is just go back to the original riser, this threading here, and just go on top of this, put my sprinkler on top of that. But I don't want it that high, so I'm going to remove this cup link here. And as I do that, oh, it's pretty loose actually. But if it's rusted up, a pipe wrench like this is really going to help pull it off. All right, now once we get it off, you'll see that there's some old Teflon. Like I said, I'm big into using this Teflon tape. I'm going to remove the Teflon, and I'm just going to put some fresh Teflon on there just to keep it from leaking, because once again, we're going from a metal pipe to a plastic sprinkler head. The threading is never the same. So to prevent the leaking, we'll just get this Teflon tape again, and we're just going to wrap it around the top of the nipple here, just like that. You only have to go around it a couple times, and it just pulls right apart, as you can see. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take the head off. The reason I'm going to do that is this has a certain spray pattern. I want it to spray away from the wall, but until I'm ready to put that on, I'm just going to remove the head, and I'm going to screw the casing on to here. And it takes just a little bit of doing, and then once you finally feel it start to grab, just slowly work it in like this. Until you start feeling it really start to get tight. That Teflon is going to help keep it from leaking, and we don't have to over tighten it, and that way we won't strip completely the plastic casing out on that metal nipple. So once we get it in pretty tight like that, like I said, you don't have to over tighten it. Now that's on, I can look at the top of the sprinkler head, and it'll tell me the spray pattern on this particular sprinkler. It has arrows that point outward, so I want those to go out, and so it's flat against the wall. It's going to spray out this way. It should get both of these flower beds. So then I can just screw this on, And that's as far as I need to go with the sprinkling system or the irrigation. So once we get to that point, now I'm ready to start digging the holes and prepping the soil for the new shrubs that we're going to put in. Now, one thing that we're going to do once we get the holes dug, I want to introduce a little bit more nutrients in the soil to give these as much help as I can now that I'm going to transplant them. So I like to use some garden soil. This particular garden soil that we're going to use is it's a Miracle Grow, and you can pick this up pretty much anywhere. They have it at Home Depot, they have it at Walmart. You can pick it up at a lot of different places, but it does have a lot of good nutrients in it. It's going to help just kind of jumpstart it once we transplant it into the new box. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start putting the shrubs where I want them. Then I'll dig the hole. Once that looks good, we'll put this in, and then we'll put the shrub in, get everything buried. Then I'm going to turn on the sprinkling system, make sure it works, and that should be good. So we'll start digging some holes. Okay, before we start digging any of the holes, I like to kind of place the shrubs and give me kind of an idea of where they're going to be placed, where they're going to look the best. Because we're kind of on a terrace here, it's going down into the backyard. I took the tallest shrub and I put it down the bottom just to try and help even out some of the height. Obviously when they start to grow, they're going to grow at different rates, but at least right now this will kind of even things out a little bit. So I took the tallest one, put it on the bottom, the next tallest I put here, and then the smallest up there, so it kind of gives it a little bit more even. But anyway, in these boxes I'm just basically going to center these things and start digging the hole, and then it should turn out pretty good. So as far as digging a hole goes, we don't have to go too deep, but we want to go about as deep as the bucket itself. So now that I kind of have an idea, I know I'm just going to center these in here. I've got each one placed. Just move this off to the side, and pretty much directly in the center of this, I'm just going to start digging. And like I said, I don't have to go too deep, but about the size of the bucket that it already is. Okay, we got the holes dug. Now before I do anything, I'm going to put just some of this Miracle Grow in here. I don't have to do a lot, but I'm just going to fill a little bit of the hole up, just at the bottom of it. I'm going to take my shovel and just kind of even it out down there. And now I'm going to put the shrub actually in. Now when I go to pull the shrub out, one of the things that I like to do is I will push on the side of it, and that loosens it up. Then you can pull the whole thing up and out of the bucket, and then you're able to place it down in the hole. So now that we've got it down in there, I'm going to add a little bit more of this Miracle Grow because the hole's a little too deep. So I'm going to fill it in with Miracle Grow. And I'm going to put it in here. Okay. Now one of the things I do like to do is look at the shrub, and now's the time to place it wherever you want. If you want a certain part to the back, I'm going to move it just a little bit. I think I like the look of that a little bit better. So now that we've got that in, I'm going to put a little bit more Miracle Grow out and around it. Then I'll take the rest of the dirt and we'll pack it in around, and then I'll leave a little bit of a bowl so the water will have a place to just stay there and drain down in. Okay, we got everything buried. We put the dirt back, and now I'm just going to kind of finish the flower beds a little bit. I'm just using a regular rake, and I'm just going to take the rest of the loose dirt and just kind of even things out a little bit. Now in a future video, what we're going to do is I'm going to go get a bunch of mulch, and I'm going to put that down over the top of this and spread it around, and that will kind of beautify the dirt, make it a little bit more presentable, make it look really a lot better. But in the meantime, I'm just going to take all the rest of the dirt and just kind of spread it around, at least kind of straighten it up a little bit. So I'll do that with each of these flower beds. Kind of break the dirt up a little bit and just kind of try and make it a little bit more presentable. So we got it all finished. This is kind of the end product. Now the last thing I want to do is just test the irrigation on it, make sure the sprinklers are operating. And I've got one of those smart timers, so I've got it hooked to my smartphone. I'm just going to hit start test, and we'll kind of see where the spray patterns are on these. So this is a little bit overkill on this particular sprinkler head, but the reason I wanted to put these in is they grow. The shrubs will get up bigger than the sprinkler heads, but you can see the dual spray. Some is going up, some is going straight down. So I think all in all, it turned out pretty good. Now I'll just watch the spray pattern, make sure that each shrub is getting the proper amount of water, and then I'll just adjust these accordingly.